Welcome to Psychic Girls Next Door. Thank you for listening. Thanks for being here. So we are going to be talking about kind of like energetic clutter and the process of like decluttering your life. I can definitely speak for myself. I've been focused on decluttering every aspect of my life. Believe it or not, that my space looks always cluttered. But I think when you are in this like the internal realm is what really matters most. And Lili, I know that you recently moved to a new place, as we can see in your background.
Yes, I have.
Yeah.
If you are watching it, on YouTube, you can probably see like my background looks a lot different than the last episode. And I've moved into my new place. Yeah, it's been a big change.
Yeah.
Physical change, I want to say, but that also, of course, really impacts our internal worlds. But I do also believe that whatever is going on internally also reflects on the outside as well.
Absolutely.
But
Yeah.
yeah, it's been pretty recent. So I mean, like the background here looks pretty organized, but if I show you like behind the cameras and like on the sides on the floor, it's like there's a lot of clutter.
Yeah. No. It creeps up in like every area of your life, not just like your physical space, but like, emotional clutter, like mental clutter. Like if my desk is cluttered, my mental space is cluttered, like especially at work or at home. Like it can be like such, and you don't realize how clutter impacts your life in a lot of different ways. Like since moving to this new space, I mean, you've had to move a couple different times the past couple years, like where you
Oh
have to
my
like kind of
gosh.
choose
Yes.
what you want to take and what you want to keep, or what you want to take and get rid of. How is that process kind of like help you almost like redefine and reshape what you're gonna, how you're gonna decorate, how you're gonna set your space up, not only physically but also like mentally too? How has that like shifted in the past couple
Yes.
years?
I feel like that when you move a lot, you do learn that, gosh, we do accumulate a lot of junk. And the amount of clutter, it's always like every time I move, I'm like, where all this stuff came from? Like, why do I have so much junk and things that I don't need anymore? And why is all this clutter? And I think this also translates into our lives because we do carry baggage. We carry our own clutter. These are like things that we hold on, things that we like get really attached to. And for some reason, we don't want to let it go, whatever it is. It could be an emotional thing, it can be something that feels familiar or things that just make sense at the time. But every time I'm like, I would tell myself, okay, I'm not going to buy more stuff. I am going to do my spring cleaning. So I have like all these goals. Doesn't happen. And that's okay, because I mean, let's be honest, like moving, it's a pain. It can be a pain. I mean, it's exciting to move into a new space and all of that, but the process in itself, it's kind of annoying.
Well, yeah, you
But
like find
yeah,
things that you might have been avoiding dealing with or getting rid of, or like realizing like, oh, I've been holding on to this thing for like way too long, and I haven't touched it, I haven't looked at it. It's just been like taking up space, like physically and
yeah,
energetically.
exactly. And I feel like the more you hang on to things, it's hard to create space for new things to come, right?
Yeah.
And this, I think, applies both physically and energetically. But I think with this last move, I really consider like, okay, what do I really need? And even some of the things that I brought from San Francisco here to Colorado, that I felt like, oh, this I think I might use it or might need it. I kind of like I took a second look at it. I'm like, but these things they don't resonate with me anymore.
Yeah.
So I think I'm gonna find, you know, another home for it or, recycle, donate it. And this is kind of like how I also see in my own life, just kind of taking a look at it. Well, how is this still working for me? Is
Mm.
there something that I still want to bring it into this new chapter in my life? Or is it something that maybe did serve me at some point, but right now it needs to be upgraded because there were things that were left in the apartment here that they were not really my vibe, and that's
Yeah,
okay. And
totally.
I was
Everyone
like,
has a different vibe.
yeah, and I'm gonna like upgrade things and redecorate and do things like how I do like and things that do reflect my own self today. So that's been also a very interesting process too. Just kind of, I
Yeah.
think you kind of discover things about yourself too. That you've kind of been, and again, like you put it in the closet, so you never have to look at it again, or you
Right.
shove it under the bed because I don't
Yeah,
want
for
to
the
look at
junk,
those things.
the spaces where like you can hide stuff, or and it's basically you like not dealing with your shit, like, so to speak, literally. Like you're like, oh, I know that I might want to keep this, so like I have 5 bins of like bins, like actual like full size bins. There's one literally under my desk right now. There's two behind me that I'm not going to show. And all of this came from me donating a bunch of my furniture. So my friend Emily, she works in housing for unhoused individuals in San Francisco, to go from basically living on the street to their first support home apartment. And so she usually they have furniture. The one that she didn't, that she was working with recently, did not have furniture. And this trans woman was moving in to this new place with, and it was totally unfurnished. She posted on Instagram, "Hey, like my client's looking for furniture. We're in a pinch." I furnished her whole apartment.
Well, that's
And
amazing.
thanks. Yeah.
You
And
know, that's one of those things that I love about this
yeah,
too, because then things that you know you don't need anymore, you don't use anymore,
right.
someone else might make great use of it.
Totally. And it felt so good not only to like have it go to somebody who actually needs it, but like my Megan works for, a cosmetics company. I gave her one of my extra like travel suitcases. We filled it up with product, and she like opened it up and screamed, and like literally like, really nice product too. And so it wasn't only like me who was giving back, but my sister was able to get rid of like stuff. And like, so it was a win-win of like, we not only like helped a person, of course that's a great, like beautiful, intentional thing, but we were able to, I was like, oh my God, a free moving truck. Like I had selfish motivation a little bit, like, but I was like able to shift and get rid of the energy and like get rid of stuff that had just been in my garage. Like we got rid of a bed frame. I got rid of a dresser. I got rid of my work from home pandemic desk. I got rid of a TV. Literally, like, the 2 boxes of kitchen stuff that you had left behind in my garage, we gave it to this woman. So you
Oh my
also
god,
contributed.
that's
Yeah,
amazing. I'm so
yeah,
happy to hear that. Yeah,
totally.
and it's interesting you talk about this thing about like giving
Yeah,
stuff away because that's also like how abundance works, right?
yeah,
Like you just kind of like this flow of energy. So you let go of things, and then there's this flow of things that come back. So the coming and going of
yeah,
things, and
yeah,
again, it's like this all this stuff is just like a clutter space.
totally.
And I feel like nowadays we are like bombarded with clutter, like
Oh,
digital clutter.
digital clutter. Oh my God. Don't even talk about my inbox. Like,
Oh my gosh, like it's not even like the email inbox, but also like social media,
yes,
the
all of it.
news. Like you get bombarded with all this like overload of information.
Yeah.
And of course, people like going through all this like chaotic energy because there's like so much going on. And that to me, it's already clutter, right?
Yes. Oh
Like
yeah, it's just noise, and like so much noise all the time. Like just like in a lot of it's like related to instant gratification, but I think a lot of it is like distracting people from being able to connect and listen to their own information. And that, I mean, that's the society we live in. Like
it
especially in the
is,
US. Like I mean, I don't know if it's different
fortunately.
in like other parts of the world, but like, the news now is now on TikTok, and it's now, but it's also skewed news, and then it's people's opinions about what's happening in the world, and then but also what's happening in their own realms. And for me,
Yes.
at first it was like what's happening in their own realms as like a way to like connect with and like do something at home during the pandemic. But now it's shifted and evolved, and there's so much marketing, and then you're like, oh, actually maybe I do need that night guard, like, and for me I do actually need a night guard, but like, it's like literally like it's such a marketing scheme. And even like, I mean, we went to the Eras tour, we saw Taylor Swift, her newest album, like just like the whole thing of like she makes a new album. She's come out with like I think 8 different versions or something like that for her newest album. So like, and people will buy all 8 versions, and
Wow.
they feel the need to like immediately. It's like Josie and the Pussycats. Like, I don't know if you've seen that movie from the early Thou, of where it's like buy Pepsi, and it has like all this subliminal programming on it. But that also takes away from you being able to like tap in and tune into yourself, and like, from on a spiritual, like higher vibrational lens. And like, it is an, I would say it's an element of clutter, right? Like noise is clutter.
It is clutter, but yeah, I think it's one of the things that really ails today's generation is this. It's the addiction to it.
Yeah. Oh
Because
yeah.
in many ways, and I've noticed myself too, like if I'm like, I don't know, I'm not doing anything, but the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna reach for my phone.
Mm.
And you like notice anywhere you go, like you go to the park, you go like, any event you go, first thing you see people they're hunched down on
Mhm.
their phones. They're
Mhm.
like always like checking their phones. There's always
Yep.
something
They're in
popping up on
another
their
realm.
phones. Yeah,
Yeah. They're
notifications popping
present.
up. And then, yeah, and then there's work, there's like things about emails and chats and all these things going on.
Yeah.
And it's hard to break the addiction on that.
Totally.
So, one of the things that I'm trying to do is just be a little more intentional
Yeah.
about how I use social media and my phone.
Yeah.
So I mean, and of course, you do need your phone for other things as well.
For
And
sure.
there is the different uses for different things. But when I wake up in the morning, I dedicate that first hour just to myself. So
Yeah.
I don't go on social media. I don't open my phone. I leave my phone on do not disturb. And I wake up, I go do my stuff, meditate. And then afterwards, after I have, my breakfast, then I'll go and check my
Yeah.
phone. Because
Yeah.
I feel like when you already wake up and you already open your phone and then you get that hit of like dopamine and
Dopamine. Yeah.
cortisol, like everything just kind of gets all hyped up, that already sets your day to
Yeah.
be even more addicted or more like connected or merged with whatever all this information, right?
Yeah.
And that's just one of the things. Like I've met a lot of people that also leave their TVs in the background, so there's the constant chatter and noise.
Oh,
And I used to be like that too. I would be home and I would have like the TV on because some people say feel like it's soothing or it
like keeping
feels
them
like,
company, like if they're
yeah,
feeling
or yeah, so they
lonely.
don't feel as lonely, blah, blah, blah. And I don't know, like I'm at a point when I just want peace.
Oh, absolutely. You can't put
Yeah.
a price on peace at all.
No,
Like,
and then, but again, like you do have to be intentional about things like that. And not to, because if you tell people like, oh, just disconnect from your phone, like don't touch your phone, I don't know if that's very realistic because we are so attached to our devices nowadays. So I'd say like the use of it is just to be a little more intentional, like even
yeah,
following things on social media that I feel like bring me a little bit more joy or make me feel like we live in a
yeah,
world that is not so bad and chaotic.
literally. Oh my God.
But
Yeah. Because
yeah,
it's a
but it
community
is.
that,
I think it's like it's everywhere, right?
and you don't know, like, especially on TikTok, I feel like that's so Wild West. Like, you don't know what kind of frequency you're going to tune into when you open it. It, like, literally, the algorithm kind of like, you have your algorithm, which, like, the MLMs have been, like, trained to understand your behavior, your consumer behavior, right? So like if you're looking up spiritual content, you'll probably get a few videos on spirituality, but then they might vary it, like the variation in the AI is going to suggest something new, especially on like the For You page. But like I've been suggested some wild and out like this,
Same.
yeah, like I'm like I would never watch this content, or like I'm sorry, like I love people posting about their pets, but like when they post about their pet that passed away, like that is just hitting me too hard. I've devastatingly cried over like people losing their pets, and I'm like I wasn't ready to have an emotional breakdown today, but like here we are, it's 7 a.m. and that's like the first thing I'm seeing, but that like sets the tone for like the rest of your day.
Yes,
And
it does.
yeah,
And then you're kind of in that energy, and that energy, it's in your space. I mean, the clutter is in our space, right?
yes, yeah,
So, how can you function as a human being with all this clutter in your energetic space? Because you just like you carry not only throughout the day, but you carry, into your work, into
hmm,
relationships. And sometimes it's almost like it's unconscious, right?
yeah,
Because you're like, oh, you didn't even notice how you acted or reacted that way. Or maybe because you saw something online and that triggered you. And then you think like whoever talks about it, that's also triggering. So it can, kind of creates like
yes.
a chain reaction of things, and people that are really into like watching conspiracy videos, so that becomes
Mhm.
a thing too. So it kind of like, I feel like it gets like really messy.
It does. It gets messy, it gets convoluted, and then you're like, oh my God, I don't even know how I actually feel about the situation, or I don't even know what I actually think about the situation. Because I mean, honestly, social media is designed to think for you.
Well, yeah, I think any technology technology or any of those devices, I mean, also the news, TV, right?
Mhm.
Like all of this, it's, I think there's a lot of manipulation and
Yeah.
a
Oh,
lot
yeah.
of fear mongering, and a lot of those TV shows, it's not reality, like people
No,
feel like that's reality, and they watch shows and programs and they kind of try to replicate that in their own lives,
totally.
or try to copy that or emulate that. So it's kind of like not being yourself,
Right.
you know. And to me, the more you know yourself, the more you understand yourself,
Yeah.
and the more you can have discernment of what is your information and what is other people's information, the more you're able to have clarity and more and distinguish, and also like clear the clutter,
Yeah. And
clear
that'll
all this
be,
like chaos away from the
yeah.
space. I live with people that all they talk about, it's about the news, like what's going on, what they saw in the news and talking, and that's fine. I think there's a time and space for this stuff. But for me, it was like, I boundaries. Like
Right.
I am okay not going too deep into all this stuff and just kind of like having all this like reactive behaviors and kind of immersed in it and get
Totally.
like all kind of riled up about everything that's going on the news, because that already like hijacks your nervous system, and that kind of just affects like everything else, your health, your mental health, your
I
emotional health.
know. And it's like, it's good to care about it. Like, as a human being, like, we're living in such a devastating time.
Yeah.
Like, and we are very fortunate that we live in parts of the world that are not being bombed. So we don't have to worry about the physical, like, lack of safety every day. But we see it happening to other people. And you're like, this is awful. Like, this is devastating. And I think it's good to care about it. But I do respect your process of like, when you have your community of people that like, constantly are talking about it, it can be very negative and it can be very energetically draining. So it's like finding the right balance of like you can care and you can be passionate and like want to know and be informed, but also you do have to recognize when it's starting to impact your mental health, your physical well-being, and start setting up those boundaries and knowing like it's okay to have boundaries for these things, because at the end of the day we all have to take care of ourselves. And I know that's such a
Absolutely.
selfish thing to say, but it's true. We all have to take care of, ourselves. So like you have to fill up your own cup before you can fill up someone
Yeah,
else's cup.
absolutely. Well, I don't feel it's selfish in a way. I feel that you can be both at the same time. You
Yeah.
can be empathetic and caring, but also protect your peace.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
No, it's true.
and then
It's a
of
better way
course
to
I can,
look at it.
yeah. And then there are things that we have no control over, right? And so I try to focus more on things that I can control.
Yeah.
And I mean, what's going on in the world, I mean, it makes me horrified. There are
No, it's
things
like
that I
physically ill.
read and I see it and I'm absolutely like devastated. And it's some of the things you cannot even believe that a human can do.
Right.
But my job, I feel that as someone that facilitates healing for others, is to become even more honed in my
Totally.
healing practice, so I can not only heal myself, but also facilitate healing for people, so we can all kind of create a better space
Yeah.
for others, and then create space so then all of this clutter, this noise, this chaos, you can still thrive in places where all of this is helping, but you can also bring, well, I'm going to say, quote unquote, the light.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't know. It's kind of like a weird term to kind of say, oh, I'm going to bring in the light, but just become more of like a positive source of
Yeah.
energy,
Yeah. Like
right? And not
radiating.
contribute to all of this chaos and everything else that is going
Totally.
on, because it's enough with what is going on.
Yeah.
So we just don't want to be matching that.
Absolutely. Like being like a beacon of light or beacon of like, not to say beacon of hope, but like if you can be your own light in your own space, then that will translate and resonate with other people who also might feel the same way. But it's like, this whole thing of like, do I match with what's going on in the world right now, or do I find my own information and like radiate at a high frequency, or then what's actually happening in the world, and maybe that will translate and transmute some of the negativity and the chaos and the clutter that is going on within people's internal realms, because like your internal realm is going to influence and project onto your external realm. And I think it's super important to be able to recognize like what your own habits and patterns and like information is, so that you don't negatively project onto others, and you also like recognize like when other people are projecting onto you, because that's also clutter. It's just, and for other
Yep.
people's information is clutter.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And we carry that. It's almost it can be like it becomes a baggage or a burden too. But I would say, like, in a practical way, it's just being mindful and intentional about making choices, I feel like, too.
Yeah.
So instead of, like, I'm going to speak from my own experience, instead of being so connected and like having this habit of picking up my phone, I'm gonna read more, or maybe I'll play some soothing music,
Mm-hmm.
or maybe I'll dedicate myself to a project or a
Yeah.
hobby, right? Something that brings me joy, or maybe I'll go for a walk,
Yeah.
or maybe I don't know, if the weather is, it's nice and I feel like I can go outside, I'll go, for a day trip or something, or maybe I'll go out with a friend.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't mean that you have to spend money, but I feel like I can also make choices in my life, whether it be immersing myself in doom scrolling for
Oh
an hour.
yeah.
And sometimes I have to say I'm guilty, because I'm doom scrolling. I'm like, oh my God, it's been 2 hours.
Right,
I
I could have
spent
gone to
two,
bed.
I
Yeah.
spent 2 hours of my day, more than 2 hours probably, just like doom scrolling. And I'm like, there's like nothing beneficial that comes from this. It's just
No,
me
not at
like
all.
watching all those like random things from random people, from strangers, right?
Yeah.
You
Oh,
think
we don't
about it.
know. Yeah. And it's like,
Exactly.
no, I think
Talking
that
about
really,
things that are not even like, might not be
yeah.
true or whatever.
I really
But
like that idea of like doing a digital detox, even if it's just for a couple hours or the day, so that you can step away and like that'll just reset your space. So you're literally not connecting to like the online realm that is just basically clutter, in my opinion, and probably
yeah,
both of our opinions. And then being able to like connect to not like online activities. And I think, it's like literally the saying, you just got to touch some grass. If you feel so overwhelmed with like whatever's going on, whether it's like, your friend circle, drama with family, just touch some grass, like go to the park, just literally put your feet on the earth and like that will resonate with you. And you don't realize like how much like just morning sunlight and touching the earth with your feet, like will literally like set you up for success for the whole day,
yeah,
especially if you decide not to touch your phone right away. And
yeah.
that
And just
yeah.
taking deep breaths also help too.
Oh yeah.
Just close your eyes and take some really deep, intentional breaths. I said the word intentional like 50 times already in in this episode, but that's kind of the intention of it.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
That's
it's
kind of
true.
what it is. But also in the physical space as well, I feel like when you start like looking into things and just looking at your closet or whatever, kitchen space, like, do I need 10 spatulas?
No,
Do I need to have 50 plates?
no.
Do I really need that? It's kind of the Marie Kondo, right? Like, does it bring
Oh
me
yeah.
joy? I mean,
Yeah.
is it cluttering my space? So I feel like
Yeah.
just kind of starting with small things like that because it shifts the energy.
Yeah.
Once you start like really like removing things and showing yourself, okay, I didn't die in the process of that. It
Right.
made me
Right.
feel lighter. I'm donating, it goes to a good cause, whatever it is, or you just give it out to a friend that really needed that.
Yeah.
Once you start creating those experiences and you show yourself, how you're moving this energy and you're shifting it, it already shifts, this whole attitude
Yeah.
about not wanting to carry physically and energetically like things, or even like I would say relationships too. With
Yeah. Oh
you
yeah.
can be
Ab-
clutter too. Can create
Absolutely.
your clutter in your life. So
Yeah. No, like I went on a first date like a month ago and the only like nothing came of it, but the beautiful thing that came of it is his place was immaculate. Like not a speck of dirt, no clutter. And I was like,
really,
I literally was like, I need to get rid of all my shit. I just need, and that's literally like a few days before, like then I saw my friends post about donating and giving like, and all, literally everything, every person you meet, whether like, especially with dating, like, I think people can be like, just an information that you might need to hear or see, like, oh, their space looks, it's such an inspiration. Like, whether nothing came out of that thing, but like, what did come out of it was such a beneficial thing for me in the future and like the now. Like I got rid of like so much stuff. Now I'm like going through every crevice of my room and getting rid of like old pajama tops and just things that aren't serving me. And I think like, so you never know like where you can get the inspiration or like the like decluttering is a good thing no matter like what day it is, but you do have to like trust like you're going to be okay.
yes. And it's one thing at a time.
Yeah,
You don't have to like go and like declare your whole house and like get rid of all your friends and never
totally.
speak to your
Right.
family again. We don't mean in that way, but I would say just start like by looking at things and how is it serving you, what's not, and just one step at a time because it gets overwhelming.
Yeah.
Both ways, both being clutter and trying to get rid of everything at the same time. So you kind of have to pace yourself.
Mm-hmm.
But it all starts, I feel like, with just kind of really pausing.
Yeah.
Pausing, take a deep look at yourself. But I'm curious just to find out of whoever is listening to this episode, like, how is your clutter? Do you feel you need to get rid of your clutter? Share with us. we love hearing stories about, or even like if you want to suggest places for donation, nonprofits, any things, we're happy to hear.
Awesome. Thank you so much for listening, everyone.
Thank you. See you on your next episode.